In today's video, we're gonna discuss what you really need for your detail lighting. Now, I wanna be honest, I'm gonna have a little bit of a hot take on this, and I may not be right, but this is my personal opinion after detailing cars for about 20 years. So we're gonna talk about the differences between some lighting options, and then I'm also gonna show you, I have my 1969 Ford Fairlane. It sat outside while I was moving shops. I have to do some correction on it. The hood has some staining on it. A little bit of etching, and then on the side panels, I already started doing some heavier cutting with a wool pad, so there's marring there, and we'll show you that with the lights. Now, the first lights that come to mind when you're detailing is the brand Scangrip. They make phenomenal lights, and they're really good within the detailing and painting industries because they use a really high CRI rating. Now, what is CRI? It stands for Color Rendering Index, and that just means it's going to give you the most accurate representation of like sunlight onto the panel or just the visibility of it. For me, detailing, it's not necessary. Again, that is my hot take on this whole subject, but for paint work, I totally get it. If you're respraying panels, I have some friends that work in the auto body industry, and they do a lot of painting, and they typically, when they have to match a panel, they pull up the paint code, they get a sample, and then there's also variations to that depending on when that was sprayed. So what they do is they typically spray out a few different samples, and then they take that thing outside and they match it up to the car. Well, with a light like this, with a high CRI rating, you're going to be able to get that same conclusive comparison indoors with a light as you would outside, so that you get the best representation and you get the absolute best color match. As a detailer though, I'm not painting anything. I am literally taking scratches and imperfections out of the clear coat and trying to clarify the clear as much as possible so we get that really wet, glossy look. And that's where my opinion comes in, that I don't need a light that's super expensive that has that CRI rating, because even if the panel looks like it's a different color than the next one, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not changing the color. All I'm doing is adding clarity. Now, with that said, I want to state, I have a bunch of Scangrip lights, and I think they're phenomenal. They are built better than any, they're really, really nice lights. However, they are very, very expensive, and I don't think that everyone needs them. I think you can get the job done with a whole lot less. So back to my 1969 Ford Fairlane. Like I said, guys, I'm gonna give you a little representation here. Now, right off the bat, in my shop, I have HEXAGON lights up above. And a lot of people say that those aren't good for detailing. However, tons of detail shops use them, and I have to be honest, they put out a ton of light at a really low wattage, or they're LED, so they're super efficient. They put out a ton of light and they look cool. So as far as my detailing bay goes at my shop, I have a ton of fill light, right? But then I always do still use a specialty light to really examine the paint, and also on the sides. I really want a good representation. So let's go ahead and take a look at my 1969 Ford Fairlane under the HEXAGON lights. We're just gonna look at the hood here, and as you can see, the paint looks quite good, right? Pretty good clarity, really nice and shiny, nice and glossy, looks fantastic. However, we're gonna go ahead and grab a Scangrip now, the large one. I'm gonna turn that thing on and we're gonna go across the surface, and that's where you can start seeing, looking into that light on that thing, you can start seeing all these imperfections. Again, these lights are fantastic. Also, with that Scangrip light, you have the ability to change the different color temperatures throughout it, and also the intensity of the light. I will say, again, the CRI rating isn't the most important to me. For me, it's how bright the light gets. Also, I do really like the change in color temperature, because at different temperatures, it does pick up different stuff. So I do like that. But now I also want to show you down the side panel of the vehicle, right? This is the front driver's side fender, and this is where I have already hit this with an aggressive compound with a wool pad. So I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff here, guys. Be wary of that. But if we just look at it without any other supplemental light, as you can see, the panel looks quite good. But now let's go ahead and throw on the Scangrip, hold it across, and as you can see here, guys, tons and tons and tons of swirling and marring and all that kind of stuff for my heavy cut that I'm gonna refine out and get this thing looking good. However, now is the time to show you guys two different options that are available at your local Home Depot, or at least one of them is for sure still, the other one might be. I think they may have updated it. But the first one is this simple little 3-panel LED light. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing on. We're gonna go and re-inspect that entire fender. And as you can see, guys, this thing is absolutely lit up now with all those defects. So now with that kind of lighting, I can get in there and refine everything, make sure it's all perfect, and make sure it looks good. Then I can come back with a Scangrip or something like that with a higher CRI rating, just for, you know, just to put my mind at ease and make sure everything's perfect. Come back across and inspect it after that as well. But this thing is gonna give me a ton of light on the panel so I can see visibly what I need to work on. Now, option number 2 is another Husky light from Home Depot. And this one's a more simple, just 2-headed unit. We're gonna do the same thing. I think this one's cheaper. I'll link them in the description if I can find them. This is the one that is still available at Home Depot for sure that I could find. But I'm gonna turn both of these on. And as you can see, again, this thing, again, I think this thing puts out like 10,000 lumens or something crazy. And the panel, completely visible for me to work on and address those defects. Now, the only downside of these 2 lights that are available at Home Depot that are significantly cheaper than the Scangrip stuff, significantly, is that they're plug-in. The Scangrips are battery powered, and that's fantastic. I love that about them, especially because while I'm working around a car, I don't want to have to continually move it, deal with the cords. It just becomes a little bit of a pain. Totally workable, but just for me personally, I would prefer it to be battery powered. And then the second thing that's wrong with these is they're not the sturdiest. I think they're fine. They're not gonna fall off. But if you shake the head of it, it's quite loose. And that just gives me a little bit of anxiety while I'm working around nice cars. I don't want that thing to accidentally topple over for some reason and ding a car. Now, the one of them, there's a completely good reason as to why it's wobbly, and it's actually a pretty cool feature. Like I said, the head's wobbly, everything's tightened down, but there's a little switch on the bottom. You can pop that, and the whole top unit comes off of the tripod unit, and you can move that around just like that. Really, really cool. But with all that said, guys, I want to introduce you to some lights that I personally absolutely love. This company actually sent these to me a year ago probably, and I've been using them and really, really enjoying them. That's all I have to say about it, and the brand is NextLED. Now, they have stuff that ranges from all over the place, from just basic, like, let me see, yeah, basic little handhelds. This thing is fantastic. You get the 2 different light textures there, and then also one on the front. This little piece moves around. Really nice build quality. It's magnetic on the back end here, so you can just snap it onto places. Really great light. However, they have a proper style, Scangrip style light here. This has, I think, a CRI rating of 97. Anything over 95 is considered great. I think this is 97, if I remember well. Magnetic on the background, on the back of it. It tilts and moves around. You can turn it on, so there you go. And then, I don't know if you guys can see that. 3 different light temperatures. So a nice bright light, and as you can see, hopefully you can, yeah, I think you can see that. There's a little more amber, and then really amber. So that's fantastic. I absolutely love this thing. It also has a little hook if you need that. This and 2 others are the lights I use a lot. The next one I want to show you guys is my favorite of the group because it's so versatile. It's a tripod setup light, so I can really dial it into where I need it, especially when I'm working across panels. So just let me show you here. So here it is. It is super, super stable. It's not going to be super stable on this table, obviously, because it's going to be too high. But let me just drop this down here. We don't need these. So the cool thing about this, you guys can see this, is there's a little knob right here. We'll just pull that forward, and then these fold up nice and snug, just like so. I don't know what the material is, but it's aluminum or something. It's super, super nice. Really high quality. So there we go. You have the handle on front here. Now we have our on-off switch here, okay? These little head units turn and move around, okay? Now you can plug it in and you can use it while it's plugged in, but you can also use it, there's an internal battery and you're good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and fire this on. I'm actually gonna point it that way because this gets very, very bright. So just one button on, okay? So there is that. Then we can also change the color temperature, okay? So there's 2 different color temperature options on there. Now the power button's here. I'm gonna hold that now, push it down and hold it. There's a little like Wi-Fi style button that comes up. And this thing is remote control powered, guys. So I can turn it on and off from wherever I'm working on the vehicle, which is incredible because I don't need it on at all times, right? So I can turn it on, turn it off. I can't change the color temperature on this, but I can change the intensity of the light. So let me go, look at that. So if you saw it flash, that means it's at its highest point. I mean, this is like, it's like stadium lighting. It's really, really bright. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take it all the way down now. And it's gonna flash when we get to the lowest point. So there you go. And then again, you can change the color temperature there and then do it higher and lower. Really, really fantastic light. I absolutely love this thing. When you're done with it, right, just turn the light off. Make sure it powers off. You flip these guys back up like that, and it's good to go. It actually comes with the little bags to store it in. It has a hook here, so you can actually store your power cord there. I actually just keep it in the bag personally, but this thing is absolutely phenomenal. I think this thing comes in around 200 bucks. So in comparison to like the ones at Home Depot that are 100 to 150 bucks, all the functionality that you get out of this, the remote control, and also, guys, where is it here? There's a spot that you can actually mount. I don't remember where, oh, right up here. It's actually a little magnet, so you can keep your little remote right there. It's phenomenal. But yeah, I think with all the functionality, the remote control, the really solid base, the battery powered option so you don't have to have it plugged in, the increase and decrease in the lumens, or the output of it, and then also the 2 color temperatures, it's an absolute home run. I highly, highly, highly recommend this light. So there's that one, this one that I use a ton for detailing. I mean, I use this one at the house all the time, but for detailing, I use that one, the little handheld, and this one for a multitude of things, mostly interior work, and then also sometimes if I'm doing an engine not in the dark, but if I'm in the shop and it's a little tight. So here it is. Okay, we just hit this little button here. We fold this out. Okay, and then there's a little latch here. We just flip this over, lock it into place. What this is, guys, is a under hood light. So these parts you can just twist around. They are padded, so you don't have to worry about it messing up your paint. You still be careful, obviously. I still like to, typically I'll put microfiber in there as well, but they're a nice padded deal. And then it extends out. And it's just on a spring, so it stays, once you get it there, it pulls back and stays nice and snug in place. And then on top of that, guys, we have 2 lights here, right? So we're gonna go and power them on. So, and you can see there's 3 modes to that too. You have bright, a little less, and then a UV light, which is cool. But there's the bright lights, right? So it gives you a ton of light inside. And then if you want, these things pop out and you can take them out and go wherever you need with these. So again, guys, the functionality of these lights from NextLED are phenomenal. I've been really, really, really enjoying their stuff. For interiors, I use this more for interiors than anything else. You just pop it in there and you're good to go, and it's gonna illuminate the interior as much as you need, really, so you have good visibility. Again, build quality on this thing is great. It's kind of, I don't know what the metal is, and then plastic around the other pieces, but it seems like good plastic. I haven't had any issues with it. Again, the padded ends here are the whole thing is just done really, really well. So, and again, for storage, that's a big part for me because a lot of times I am doing jobs mobile and I'm taking stuff in my truck to the customer's house. Sometimes the customer doesn't want to come to my shop for a ceramic coating, and I will do it in their garage for them, but I need the supplemental light to really see what I'm doing, make sure I'm not leaving any high spots. All this stuff is invaluable to me. So I just wanted to introduce you guys to the NextLED brand. The Husky brand stuff works phenomenally well too. Like it definitely does get the job done. Scangrip, obviously, phenomenal lights. I just think for the price, there are options out there that as a detailer, we don't necessarily need this. I know every detailer uses them. It's just, in my opinion, with that CRI rating, even if it wasn't there, but the light was still bright and still had different color temperatures, that's what I personally really need, not so much the CRI rating. So that's it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to highlight these different options you can get, right? Also, there's a light at Harbor Freight that is just like this, and it's like 40 bucks or less. This one's 60 something, I think. This one's like 150. And there are more features on this as well. But again, those features don't translate to me. I've used them and I'm like, I don't see any difference personally for what I'm doing. Again, that might just be me, but for me, it doesn't make a ton of sense. So if you're going on a super budget, the Braun brand at Harbor Freight, they have something similar to this. They don't have the different color temperatures, I don't think, but still, it's a great light for the price. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope that video helps you. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.